Hello, Matt from Whatcast here. Now, I don't know if anyone's seen this yet. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this. Professor Dave versus Flat Earth Dave. The video's now doing the rounds. Go check it out. Everyone's posted it. All of the so it's on Shaun Attwood, I think. It's on his channel. I don't know if that's a podcast or whatever. He's put it out. Dave's put it out. Everybody's put it out other than Flat Earth Dave, who pushes everything out immediately. So I wonder why he didn't put it out. My comments on this, I'm going to show you a few little clips here, and I'm going to give my opinion on them. Anybody that listens to Whatcast or follows any of these videos that I sometimes put up on YouTube and the podcast Whatcast up there. Flat Earth Dave came on my show last summer. I wanted to get a flat earther on for a long time. They all would be so abusive online, and you're a fucking idiot, and so fucking rude. You ask any question, completely rude and ridiculous. Not all of them. I know we've got some flat earth listeners, and some of them you can have a decent conversation with, but at that time I was struggling. And then Dave Weiss's people contacted me and said, do you want to talk about flat earth on your podcast? Because Dave Weiss will come do it. So I said, yeah, no problem. It came on. It didn't have the show wasn't too bad. I found Dave a little bit condescending at times. He spoke over me quite a lot to make points that I wasn't even asking about and things like this. But I didn't dislike the man. I didn't not get on with him. He didn't convince me of anything. And obviously that's because I'm so brainwashed by the system, not because I'm actually thinking, hang on, this flat earth doesn't make much sense to me. Obviously I'm no scientist. I can't refute things that are claimed by flat earthers like Dave, as well as certain people being Professor Dave and other people like this, right? I just wanted to show a few clips here. Because what made me laugh. Actually, I'll show you a few clips first, and then I'll get into what amused me. Not so much the show, about the reaction from the flat earth community to the show and the hypocrisy of what they actually talk about. So let's bring this up here, make it a little bit bigger. There you go. And I'll clip. There's a few little clips here. I think I remember where the clips were. So let's just play.
Have you know any scientist or anybody that's ever proven that any of the luminaries we see in the sky are even physical, let alone spheres?
Yeah, we can see them in telescopes.
You can see them. So you believe that if you see something, that'll tell you its shape. So when I look at this, are these spheres?
Oh.
Are these spheres, Dave? Are these spheres?
Yeah, no, I've seen this little trick, and I know the third one from the left is flat.
It's showing you.
Here's the problem.
One from the left is flat. Dave, let me give me a second, then you can go.
No, because I've seen you do this. Because I watched 2 of your videos, and you say the same crap in every single one.
Right.
I know what these are. I know what these shapes these are.
So how do you know what shape the moon is? How do you know that the moon is even a physical object? During a new moon, no one sees the moon in the sky.
I know your talking points. So the reason, this works because that's not moving. The things in the sky move. So if you take the third one from the left, which I know is flat, and you move it around, it's going to start to change shape. Right? If the moon was a flat disk, I don't even know if that's one of your talking points or not. As it passed over you, it would change shape. It would distort.
I don't think the moon is a flat disk at all.
Okay, so it doesn't matter though. That's why what you're saying is stupid, because these objects do not move. Now, the other problem is it's not just about shape, it's about other things like composition. Do you know what spectroscopy is?
Yeah, spectroscopy is you can measure gases, but it has to be in a container. Where's the container?
No. Stop. We are looking at light. We're looking at light, and we are understanding about the materials, right? We're understanding the composition of things based on light. So when you start talking about gases, you show me immediately that you don't even know what spectroscopy is. So you do not know the ways in which we figure out things about celestial objects. You literally don't even know the definitions of the words that represent the techniques that we use. So why are you even talking about it?
So my question is, spectroscopy needs to be in a container. Otherwise, you don't know what
spectroscopy needs to be in a container. The study of how light interacts with matter needs to be in a container. What does that mean?
Otherwise, when you're looking at the moon, you don't know what gases you're seeing in between us and the moon.
Gases? The moon is solid. The moon is a solid object.
How do you know that the moon is solid? How come you can't see it during a new moon?
Why can't you see it during a new moon?
Yeah.
Because do you understand how vision works?
Well,
right? In a new moon, what's happening in a new moon? The
There's no
light from
light.
the sun is illuminating the side of away from us.
So
Right? Light illuminates the things that it hits. So a new moon is when the side that the sun is illuminating is the other side away from us. What do you want it to do? The light to go around the moon and come back and
So-
hit the other side like magic?
without interrupting, let me just answer.
There. Right, okay. Without interrupting, let me just... He done that to me numerous times, right? I wasn't interrupting anyway. He would speak over me and tell me, without interrupting, let me address the issue that you're not trying to raise, right? Now, I am obviously no scientist. I don't know. And, you know, some would call me potentially a conspiracy theorist. We do a show about conspiracy theories. Some of them I'll give credibility to. Some of them I won't. Flat Earth, I was always on the fence about. And to some degree... I can't explain the globe. I can't. I don't claim to. I never tried to get David Weiss to come on my show to try to trap him into anything or to try to outsmart him or show him up. I wanted to talk to a flat earther. I wanted to see what they believe. The flat earth community descended upon me like they always do. And by the way, because David Weiss sends them to, right? So all these people, there's people crying about this humiliation that this man has just faced it. And this was humiliation. And I'll get to more of the clips in a second. And now they're crying that of the way he was being spoken to. This man speaks to, even when someone's agreeing with him, he constantly interrupts them, talks over them all the time. And his minions and his fans and his cult, people that he sends to all of the videos, applaud it, and they say, flat slap, you got flat slapped, everybody got flat slapped. He has to speak to them that way because they're so stupid. Well, you've got somebody being very condescending and being very rude, Professor Dave being very snarky and rude, and everybody's, Dave showed such restraint. David Weiss showed such restraint by not reacting. Yet when I didn't react, not just me, hundreds of podcasters, when we don't react and we just let Dave speak over us because he's the guest and we're helping him push his app and we're good enough to let him come on and sell his app to our audiences, we are being flat slapped because we're not constantly talking to him like shit, right? Now someone's done it to him. It's not fair. Let's play a few other clips here, right? So what was the other one I had ready that was about there? And if anybody's saying you're picking these clips out, Dave was destroying him for the rest of the video, anybody please go watch this, right? And you'll see what happens. We'll get to the destroying bit in a minute. I think that's
of those areas. You don't know what direction you're facing. Right? There's certain areas of Antarctica that the magnetic declination is 170 degrees. So when your compass says north is that way, it's 170 degrees the other way, according to, NOAA or whoever's in charge of that. Right?
You can dress it up however you want. We're talking about looking this way and looking that way, and they see the same thing. And you're fixating on Santiago and Johannesburg because you think that they're far enough apart that they're not going to both be nighttime. I'm telling you, you can go any distance apart. Just go from Perth to Sydney, right? That's far enough apart that if you're both looking directly south, you're looking in different directions, and you can see the same thing. You cannot explain that. That's why you're trying to throw out jargon to confuse people.
I'm not trying to throw out jargon to confuse people, David.
That's exactly what you're doing.
When you're looking towards the same area. You're looking towards the same area.
But on your pizza world, south is a different direction for every longitude line. Do you not understand that? On your pizza land, right, you have all these longitude lines. Directly south is towards your magic ice wall. Everybody looking south is looking in a different direction.
Magic ice wall.
Yeah. So stop trying to skip to something else, right? Are you denying that longitude lines, everybody on your pizza world is all looking in a completely different direction when they look south?
NASA or NOAA, they tell us, what longitude lines you're talking about. They tell us that the magnetic declination is a different direction. So we're listening.
Do they, or are you just randomly grasping at words to try to make sense of something that is absolutely unexplainable for you?
David, it's not true. And the optics in the sky, again, do not prove the shape of the Earth. You say that they do.
I just did prove it with that, so I don't know what to tell you.
Let's move on.
So I'm sorry, sorry guys.
Do you
Sorry
want to
guys,
move on
my entire
from this
system
thing?
crashed.
I want to move on from looking
You
at the
hear me,
lights in the sky
Andrew?
to figure out. Yeah, we hear you.
Because I
Go on.
prove the Earth is a sphere by using that. That why you want to move on?
No, not at all.
Well,
We hear you, we don't care.
It is.
What
though.
talking point?
We hear you, but we don't care.
What talking point are we on right now?
I just finished proving the Earth is a sphere by looking at stars, something that we've been doing for thousands of years.
Right. So it's another time. I mean, you're telling me this guy like David Weiss is brilliant at what he does versus me or versus general public that do not study any of this stuff and would be easily kind of like, this does sound a little bit strange. Yes, he's brilliant at it because he repeats the same thing every single interview. He does the same thing. He knows what's going to bamboozle people. He knows what to avoid. With me, for instance, he tried as quickly as he could to get off of Southern Hemisphere flights because I'd actually booked one and he was telling me it didn't exist. Then he said it does exist, but it's 7 layers of paint, supersonic planes, double the speed, military pilots, they're all in on it. Everybody watching everybody in the sky is in on it, the air traffic controllers and whatnot. But then he couldn't wait to move on. Oh, well, anyway, I've got to talk about my app. Right, he does do this, so this is very obvious, and that left me a bit like, because a few things he said to me, I'm like, I don't really know how to explain that one. Not that I was trying to debunk anything, because I'm not a debunker, I've got no knowledge to be able to do this, right? But he couldn't wait to move off, and that was one of the last things we spoke about, and that kind of made me think to myself, I now don't believe anything he's told me because of the quick way he couldn't explain that and just said stuff to pretend, oh, we had someone with a compass on a plane. Like, oh, prove it. Prove it to me. Prove me there's 7 layers of paint on these planes. Prove me we've got super planes that go super fast for super routes just to disprove flat Earth. We've got one more little clip here before I wrap up with what my feelings about this are. And this one is 42, around about there.
The water levels go up and down, right? And in different places, not everywhere at the same time, right?
Yeah,
so
but
on your little pizza
you
world, you've got a
believe
little
that
hold on,
you-
you've got a little mound of water that's just kind of traveling around. So I'm sorry, but water isn't level on your pizza world either.
Dave, what causes your high tides? The moon?
What causes tides? The moon
Yeah.
and well, there's solar tides and there's lunar tides.
Right. And so when there's a new moon, which means the sun and the moon are
Yeah.
on the same side of the earth, the tide should be bigger, but there's not. There's bigger tides when they're
No, it
opposing.
is.
No, they're not.
No, it is.
You're absolutely wrong.
No, I'm not. And you
Right.
can Google it right now. What are you
Okay.
talking about? When the solar and lunar tides align, that's the highest tide.
Right, guys,
You're just
done
saying
that.
it's not because you're just lying.
I'm being pushed by Ash to move on to
Oh.
day/night regions of illumination.
Okay.
Right, what does that mean?
So there, the biggest thing that I get whenever people, that I'm sure people will come to the comments on this and say the same, no, water always finds its level, and all the water, was it water always finds its level and water doesn't, something or another, they say two different things. Well, I've never really heard him explain tides, and he didn't do a very good job of it there, did he? Now, I'm not saying, again, I'm saying, obviously, Professor Dave is completely snarky in this. He talks to people like they're ridiculously stupid, and it's at times uncomfortable to watch. And obviously, the Flat Earth community don't want to watch it, and they'll just dismiss it without watching it. And like they'll probably watch 5 seconds of this video, and when I hit the comments, because Dave tells them to. But they're not indoctrinated in any way. Obviously, they do. They're free thinkers. They don't do as they're told. Go and post on this video. Okay, Dave. But David Weiss told me on the show that I did with him when I asked him, and I was giving opinions of people like Professor Dave and people like that, what they say. He told me that nobody like Professor Dave would ever debate anybody like him because they would destroy them immediately. That was, I quote, that's what he said. Now, whatever you think happened in this conversation, anybody that says David Weiss completely destroyed Professor Dave in that conversation, you are either stupid, completely indoctrinated, or lying to yourself. Because that is not what happened in any way. I don't think that David Weiss made any relevant points in that conversation. And it's very telling that he has not shared this video on any of his platforms, and he's so willing to share all of the other ones while flat slapping normal podcasters that don't study any of this stuff. Yet he now talks to somebody that actually has answers for everything he says, and snarky, horrible answers, talking to him and calling him stupid the way he calls everybody else stupid. And nobody likes it. Oh, it's not fair. Dave's got such restraint. He does so well. Really? Is that really what you're going to say to that? I think people need to be a bit honest with themselves now and say, actually, he got annihilated in that debate. And he said that that would never happen. That it wouldn't even be close. They would all get destroyed. He got annihilated. And anybody saying it was 3-on-1, the two blokes that did that did not speak all the way through. They literally interrupted to change topics every now and then. I've just shown you 3 clips. I could have picked any 3 clips. I could have just picked any 3 clips and it would have been exactly the same video. It doesn't matter. So I think if you're going to be a true free thinker out there, be a true free thinker. Don't be married to your ideas. David Weiss got destroyed in that conversation, right? And anybody saying, he destroyed you in your conversation. He probably did. Because I don't know a single thing and I don't do that. I don't talk about flat earth for a living. But he still backed away from 2 or 3 points that I made. And if he couldn't answer things that I said, he had no chance with this guy. And that was proven, like I said. Thanks for watching. Please listen to Whatcast. We've just put a show out today, MK Ultra, and other stuff like that, and the Daily What 2. Please subscribe to this channel if you like these videos, and I'll see you later.